A Senate candidate from Maine was arrested over the weekend while visiting a detention center near the U.S.-Mexico border. Zak Ringelstein said he was trying to deliver toys, books, and water to children detained in McAllen, Texas. He was arrested for refusing to leave the facility. Ringelstein, a Democrat, is hoping to unseat independent Senator Angus King in November's Senate election. Earlier, he discussed his experience at the border with my colleague, Tanya Rivero.
So as someone running to represent Maine, why did you feel it was necessary to visit this detention center along the southern border?
It's important because this is the biggest human rights violation that we have seen in at least mine and many people's lifetimes. And I want to be represented by someone who is going to go to the heart of the problem and not sit in a cozy office in Washington and just write about it.
And Zak, what was your experience exactly with Border Patrol officials once you got to the detention center?
My experience was that they were not being transparent. They were very interested in protecting what I think is an inhumane situation inside. They don't want the public uproar that's out there. And in fact, as soon as the media showed up, they arrested me and sent me to jail.
So I have to ask you, though, because as you know, there are some members of Congress as well as members of the press who've had trouble getting in. Why did you think it would be different for you?
I think that every member of the American public has a right to know what is going on inside these Trump internment camps. And it is an egregious violation. And if I look at historical leaders who have made real change in this country, whether it's Martin Luther King or Cesar Chavez, it has been because people have stood their ground in the face of unjust laws.
And Zak, there are many, many people who would agree with you, but what would be your response to those people who say, hey, this was nothing more than a publicity stunt?
I think that Americans are deeply disturbed by an authoritarian Trump administration that is trying to take away everybody's rights, destroy the working class, and hurt the most vulnerable. And I think it is our right to step up to make sure that America can be a beacon of freedom and human rights across the world. And I think that we need leadership who is willing to do the hard things, not the easy things, to make this right.
Okay, well, so then as a Senate candidate, what specific steps are you proposing to fix this practice of detaining children and their families? And in the larger issue of immigration, what are you proposing?
I believe that first and foremost, we need to have a plan to reunite families. I know as a public school teacher and as a dad that at the end of the day, kids need their parents. We are creating a situation where there are now thousands of children who are incredibly vulnerable, who are going without food, who are going without security, who are going without comfort, and this is going to create long-term trauma in their lives. And we want to make sure that our American society is one that takes in refugees. We also want to make sure that we are doing everything we can to get children out of prison. I mean, that's first and foremost. And then we need to create sensible policies that take in the poor, that take in the ones who, we built the Statue of Liberty for, because this is a country that is made of immigrants, that is made of refugees. I'm a descendant of immigrants. Most of us are. And at the end of the day, we know what we can do to make sure that we support those who are fleeing war, drought, hunger, etc.
All right. So you are challenging Senator Angus King in November. On Sunday's Meet the Press, Senator King says he does not want to abolish immigration and customs enforcement as an agency. Some on the left have been calling for abolishing ICE, but he does support looking at how it operates. Do you agree with that? Would you like to abolish ICE or just tweak it?
Yes, I emphatically want to abolish ICE. I worked in an immigrant community under Joe Arpaio between 2008 and 2011, and I'm glad to see that ICE is finally being called out for what it is. It is an authoritarian, inhumane organization that is terrorizing communities and leaving so many people in fear. And I want to say that Senator King and all those who went ahead and helped confirm all of the various Trump confirmations need to step up and do the right thing and also call on abolishing ICE. And they remain complicit in these human rights abuses.
So tell me then, why not just fix it? Why abolish it outright?
I think we need to start from scratch. We need to start from scratch, knowing full well that we are a nation of immigrants. We were able to survive without ICE before 2003, and for the last 15 years, they have gone above and beyond what their duty was supposed to be, in the sense that they have decided to be an agency that is creating fear in communities, that is taking families away from their family members, and going ahead and ruining people's lives, putting people in prison. I sat in a prison cell with a number of immigrants who ended up in the criminal justice system simply because there are ICE agents knocking down their door. There are children walking home from school in this country, supposedly the beacon of freedom. They're walking home from school in fear, and they're getting stopped by ICE agents on the street. Is that the kind of country we want to live in? I don't think so. And I just want to say, for the record, that immigrants in this country, they create business. They commit crime at lower rates than so many Americans. And I think at the end of the day, we need to say what it is, which is that all Americans should be supported, that immigrants are benefiting our society, and that we will be better if we are the ones who become a beacon of freedom and human rights and stand up against these awful, despicable Trump administration rules and orders.
Zak Ringelstein, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you very much.